And I think just general on the financials, I found, and I understand these are written in a very specific way for, as you said earlier, a specific purpose. But it really was hard. NetSuite is what's getting so much play in the market by these guys. But I mean, it's a fabulous platform. And yet it was hard to really find that in those financials. It was hard to find that.
Not at all.
About or highlighted. They really kept coming back to the very large platforms.
Growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our number one priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the WBS Podcast. I'm Sam Gupta, your host and principal consultant at digital transformation consulting firm Elevate IQ. Oracle and SAP are the only two names you will hear in the enterprise accounts, while everyone else is trying to claim the third spot, including Microsoft, Infor, and Sage. In fact, you might hear that you are either an SAP shop or Oracle shop in the enterprise community. Oracle also largely dominates the database market, which could be why IT typically champions Oracle applications inside enterprise accounts. But in the cloud market, that's no longer true, as now Oracle has two leading cloud products in their portfolio, Oracle Fusion and NetSuite, both of which have experienced significant growth even despite COVID. In today's episode, we invited a panel of industry experts for a live discussion on LinkedIn to discuss major stories in the ERP and digital transformation space and an objective and independent review of Oracle capabilities. We covered several grounds, including the overview of different product offerings from Oracle and their positioning in the market. Finally, we discussed the correlation between financial perspective available through their financial statements and marketing perspective available through their website and marketing analytics, and finally user's perspective through the trends from user reviews. With that, let's get to the conversation. Hello everyone, welcome to today's show. And today we have a very exciting vendor that we are going to be discussing, and that is going to be Oracle. If you have either consulted or worked in the enterprise space, there are going to be typically two vendors that are going to be most common. That is going to be either SAP or Oracle, just because Oracle is a humongous company. So today what we are going to do is we are going to look at their offerings from the macro perspective. We are also going to be covering a bunch of stories from this week that is going to be related to ERP and digital transformation. Just to get things off, we are going to start with everybody's intro of the panelists, and I am going to start with Andy. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Andy Pratico. I've been involved with ERP software for manufacturers for 40 years, and I have a published book that's on Amazon on helping companies to select and uncover the truth about ERP systems.
Okay, and your unbiased perspective, Andy, is going to be super handy. Obviously, you have competed in a lot of different opportunities related to Oracle, so you bring a lot of experience from the field. Thank you so much for being here, Andy. Okay, Phil, can I move to you next?
Sure thing. Hi, everybody. I'm Phil Kerper with Ringling Business Solutions. I've been in the C-suite and mid-market companies for over 2 decades and implemented many ERP processes in manufacturing and distribution, and try to bring that general management perspective to this discussion, and looking forward to it. Thank you.
And that general management perspective is going to be super handy for today's discussion. Thank you so much for being here, Phil. Okay, Dave, can I move to you next?
Sure, absolutely. Hey, everybody, my name is Dave Chrysler, and I spent more than 20 years in manufacturing and operations, both implementing and using ERP systems. I now own a consulting company that focuses specifically on helping business owners create systems to help them stop working in their business so it can grow. Thanks for having me, Sam.
And that growth perspective is going to be super handy for today's discussion as well. Thank you so much for being here, Dave. Okay, Angela, can I move to you next for your intro?
Certainly. Hi, Sam. I'm Angela Thurman from the Thurman Company, and I am a technical program manager with 30 years in the aerospace and telecommunications industry. My company focuses on program management and supply chain management, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Sam.
Okay, amazing. And today we are going to be discussing, Angela, if you are going to be selecting Oracle as a vendor for your program. So this is going to be so much fun. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So now we are going to move to the stories, and we have some fun stories. So the first story that we have is coming from Zendesk. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Zendesk platform. Zendesk is a customer service platform, very well penetrated overall in the small to medium sized businesses. It is typically used in conjunction with QuickBooks for the customer service, for the ticketing, for anything and everything related to Zendesk. They have been trying to penetrate more into the CRM market. They are trying to position themselves as the CRM solution, trying to compete with Salesforce. So on that end, I think what they have done is they have acquired a company that actually provides them the end-to-end AI layer for customer service. And the company name is Cleverly. That is going to be, the AI technology that they are going to have as part of their portfolio. So I'm actually going to read the statement that is written here. That is going to be, our AI-enabled capabilities help businesses automate the conversations they have with customers, boost agent productivity, and increase operational efficiency with features like Answer Bot, macro suggestions, content queues. With Cleverly, we'll deliver a range of capabilities that automate key insights, further reduce manual tasks, and improve workflows, and overall lead to happier, more productive support teams. So I think they had a lot of different, the bot technology. They also had the knowledge management platform, but this platform is going to be slightly more richer in terms of the insight it is going to offer to the agent. And their claim is that the agent productivity is going to be increased. So this is a very exciting news, obviously, for Zendesk. We will take the comments after we finish with all of the stories that we have. So the next story that we have is coming from Oracle. And Oracle has been featured in the Magic Quadrant, and we need to be extra careful in terms of how we read this Magic Quadrant, because this specific Magic Quadrant is really for the product-centric enterprises. And when they talk about the enterprises, these are really the large billions of dollars or the billion-dollar companies that are most likely going to be Fortune 500. So this Magic Quadrant is not really for SMB. It is supposed to be for enterprises. And this Magic Quadrant is also for cloud ERP. So any of the vendors that are going to have capabilities, let's say in the on-prem world, they are not focusing on that. The other things that they have focused in this Magic Quadrant is going to be the composability of the solutions. So this is a very specific Magic Quadrant. So again, I think if you are the product-centric enterprise, and if you are a very large enterprise, and if you are looking for the comprehensive cloud solutions, then these solutions are going to be the right fit. So the news is actually coming from Oracle, and Oracle has their Fusion Cloud ERP positioned as the leader in this quadrant. And then NetSuite is there, but NetSuite is more in the visionary. It's not featured really in the Magic Quadrant. The second position that we have is from Microsoft, and third is Infor. So I'll read the news just to give you some more insight about the news as well. So Oracle today announced that it has been named as a leader for the third successive time. So they have done this twice in a row, and this is the third time that they have been positioned in this specific quadrant. For the cloud ERP for product-centric enterprises, for Oracle Fusion Cloud ERP. So they have evaluated roughly 10 providers, and they select these providers based on a specific criteria. Here, their criteria is the Gartner's definition of composable ERP. This strategy delivers a core of composable applications and as a service software platforms that are highly configurable. Again, for the large enterprise companies, the configurability is going to be a large factor. The other factor that is going to be the localization available in different countries. The localization for the Oracle Fusion ERP is roughly 116 countries. Now, none of the cloud ERP solutions can match that capability, and that's why you are not seeing companies like Acumatica, Epic, or Oracle as the leader in this quadrant. They might very well have very robust functionality for product centric enterprises, but just because they are not localized in those many countries, that's why it is not positioned as the global solution. So the best takeaway is going to be that this is really for the cloud solutions that are meant to be slightly more global in nature, because those large companies are going to require the global capabilities. Oracle was positioned highest on the ability to execute and furthest on the completeness of vision access. I think that's pretty much it from this story. So I'm actually going to move to the next story. And the next story is going to be related to Workday. And Workday has announced their result for, if I'm not mistaken, this is the second quarter, right? So here I'm actually going to read, and some of the news that we covered in the last session as well, that they have acquired the FedRAMP certification and they are going after the government market. So this quarter was one of the strongest in the company history. The community has grown to more than 55 million users. More than half of the Fortune 500 have selected Workday. Now, they have been doing really well in the Fortune 500 space. They don't do as well in the small to medium sized space. So Workday is a very enterprisey solution in general. The point to be noted here is going to be the large enterprise customers that they are going after. They are going to be slightly more service centric in nature, which are going to require the HR functionality as well as the global financials. So they do really well in those organizations. And the other strength that Workday has is going to be their APM solution. So finance planning, as well as HR and ACM is really their strength. And that's where they have been winning. They are trying to raise their guidance just because of this success. So the recent highlights are going to be obviously now 50%, more than 50% of the Fortune 500 are their customers. I think they have been winning a lot. They are winning more. They are trying to penetrate more in the enterprise market. They have also expanded their partnership with Google to include Google Cloud, in addition to Google's expanded use of Workday applications. Then Workday also announced that they are trying to deliver the payroll for Australia and Germany. And most of the ERP systems that you are going to have in the enterprise space, they don't really have as deep payroll capabilities. And that's where Workday is going to be super differentiated, that they are able to provide the payroll even for countries like Australia and Germany, which will be rare to find in a lot of different ERP systems. And then the news about FedRAMP, they have acquired the FedRAMP status for their Gov Cloud, and they are trying to go after the public sector customers. That's pretty much it on this story. And now we have the last story. That is going to be related to Salesforce. So in this particular case, this is also the Salesforce result for Q2. They have had significant growth, but as such, I did not see anything concrete or the announcement, other than that they are really winning in the CRM market. CRM is their play. They have been really trying to penetrate in that space. They are also winning a lot in the commerce space with the enterprise account, not in the SMB space. Their MuleSoft and Tableau portfolio has been doing really well. So now they can integrate with a lot of different platforms, and that actually makes Salesforce uniquely positioned just because of MuleSoft and the Tableau as well. So I think that's pretty much it for the stories for today. Okay, do you guys have any comments on these stories? We can take quick comments.
Just very, very quickly, Sam, it continues. It's been going a long time, but you can really get a sense for how these companies see their gaps by their acquisition strategy. And, to see the filling out and maybe another competitor for Salesforce and Tableau on some of those platforms they picked up are awesome. And you can kind of see how they're filling their strategy out with what they're buying. It's interesting.
Yes, I completely agree. What about you guys?
I found it interesting on that Magic Quadrant slide in that they differentiate. I guess it's almost like separate companies, Oracle versus NetSuite.
Is that not the old J.D. Edwards software platform versus the NetSuite platform? Are they distinguishing that? Because the language is different in their financial reports, as we'll see in a bit, right, Sam?
So the interesting part about the financial report is that you are not going to find the mention of J.D. Edwards anywhere in their financial report, which I find interesting. In fact, the way Oracle's financial statements are done, they are slightly different. So as we saw last week in Sage's statement, there were a lot of different mentions of the product and product capabilities and product roadmap. But in the financial statement of Oracle, there's very minimal product-centric information is available. Now, that could be a very strategic play just because they don't want to share as much information about their product, or maybe they are a different company. I don't know about that. But I could not find as much information about the product. Now, from their division perspective, the way they divide their product category, JD Edwards is not necessarily mentioned even on their site anymore. So it has been bucketed inside the on-prem solution. So we will look at the way their product is sort of structured now in their product categories on their site. They have your Oracle Fusion ERP, they have NetSuite as the separate bucket item, and then you have the on-prem solutions. So all of those on-prem solutions, including your JD Edwards, is actually going to belong there. So Oracle actively and commercially, they are not trying to promote these on-prem products because they all want to promote cloud products. As simple as that.
I thought that product that the first slide was that. Who's the vendor? Was that Xantech? Did you say or?
Yeah. Zendesk.
Zendesk. I thought that the product they acquired has a very clever name.
Yes. Okay, so let's move to Oracle. If you guys don't have any other comments, we'll move to Oracle and we'll get a chance to discuss about these stories in the session towards the end as well. So here, now we are going to be discussing the Oracle financial statement. So one of the things that you are going to notice in the Oracle financial statements, and this is the segment reporting, and this is the only section where they have some information about their product offerings. The reason for that is because legally they have to share the information about how their divisions are structured, how they are capturing their financial information across their enterprises. So they like to divide these three divisions into, one is going to be your cloud. That's the majority of the business that they have. The second is going to be hardware. And the third is going to be services. Now, hardware and services, if you are actually look at those divisions, they are not growing as much as the cloud division. And you will see all of your software, the apps, the ERPs, they are all bucketed inside your cloud division. The hardware is where you have things like Solaris. And by the way, in case of Oracle, Oracle is not just the ERP company. They are also a database company. And database has always been their flagship product, right? So when you talk about, things like Oracle Autonomous Database, I mean, that's their go-to-market strategy for a lot of different industries. So obviously, they are getting tons of revenue from there, but they have been doing really, really, really well, even in the ERP space, especially in the cloud. So we are going to discuss all of these segments. So these are the operating segments that they have, and they have three different lines of business that they like to evaluate, as I mentioned. So number one is your cloud and license. The second is hardware. And the third is services, and each of which is comprised of a single operating segment. They sell to many different industries, including public sector is a big market for them just because of the database. If you look at the industries that are going to be in the custom development space, that care for security, Oracle is going to be heavily penetrated in those spaces. For example, if you look at the companies like banking, insurance, media, telecom, Oracle is a very heavy hitter player there. They might not have as much footprint overall from the ERP perspective. From the ERP perspective, the only thing they might utilize is going to be financials. That's why financials is a big deal for Oracle. They might also utilize the HCM solution because they don't care for other bells and whistles that are going to be part of your ERP. So here, obviously, they do really well in the educational institutes, and this is going to be similar to your Microsoft, and Microsoft is their one of the biggest competitor because if you are not going to use, let's say, Oracle database, you are probably going to be using Microsoft SQL Server, or you are going to be using one of the open source databases, which is going to be MySQL, and then there are a bunch of other databases out there. Those are going to be NoSQL, newer players, emerging players, right? But for the most part, if you look at the enterprise space, it's going to be either the Oracle shop or it's going to be SAP shop, but there could also be a play that it could be a Microsoft shop because Microsoft is very well penetrated in a lot of accounts because of their database infrastructure and obviously Microsoft Azure as well. So our cloud and license business engages in the sale, marketing, and delivery of our enterprise applications and infrastructure technologies through cloud and on-premise deployment models, including our cloud services and license support offerings and our cloud license and on-premise license offerings. So anything and everything related to your cloud and on-prem, as long as that is going to be related to your license, is going to be bucketed in the number one business unit, which is going to be your cloud and license business unit. Okay, cloud services and license support revenues are generated from offerings that are typically contracted with customers directly, billed to customers in advance, delivered to customers over time, with our revenue recognition occurring over the contractual terms and renewed by customers upon completion of the contractual terms. So obviously, this is how they are structured at this point of time. They sell through partners as well. If you pay attention to, I think, some of the slides after this one, then you are going to notice that they have significant partner channel and they sell through them. So our hardware business provides Oracle engineered system, server, storage, industry specific hardware operating systems, virtualization management, and other hardware related software. Again, they are not necessarily the hardware shop, but they do have hardware segment, which is not growing as much as their cloud segment. That's why they really want to push for cloud. So if you notice the Oracle Solaris, all of those are actually going to fall under their hardware segment. And the services business is going to be really the education to partners. It could be professional services or the consulting services that they might be providing to their customers in adopting the cloud offerings. Now, let's move to the next slide. So let's look at some of other details related to their financial statement. As I had pointed out, if you look at this P&L here, I think their hardware revenues are going down. If you look at year over year from 2020 to 2021, and this is, by the way, 3-month ended, this is 9 months ended, but in both cases, the hardware revenue is actually going down. The services is going down, but cloud revenue, which is going to be the software license and the software that they are selling, that is growing at this point of time. So the total is growing because of the cloud and the license segment. But that buckets pretty much everything from your JD Edwards to your ERP to your cloud ERP, everything. Okay, so we are going to look at some more insight in terms of how this is segmented, but not everything is available through their financial statement. So here, if you look at their regional segmentation, they are growing pretty much in every single region. If you look at the North American region, they did not grow on the 9-month ended. So recently, I think they've started doing well in North American market, but they didn't do as well as in the past couple of months. But again, overall, if you look at the big picture, I think they are growing in most regions. The same goes for the application cloud services and the infrastructure cloud services. So this is where the segmentation of those, the application versus infrastructure is going to be here. So application is going to be any of your cloud ERP, your ERP, the infrastructure is going to be the infrastructure platform, such as infrastructure as a service. So Oracle does sell infrastructure as a service offering, just like your AWS, Microsoft Azure. So that segment is growing as well. So overall, if you look at the amount of growth, I think the growth is coming from everywhere, including their apps as well as their infrastructure.
Sam, I was just going to say, were you surprised that they were a little lighter in the Americas? That actually surprised me.
Yeah, me too. I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
a little bit.
I thought they were growing a lot more than that, actually.
Yeah. So like you say, it seemed to pick up a little bit in the 3 months ending February, but that bigger statistic was not what I expected when I saw it.
Yeah, so honestly speaking, we don't really have the segmentation available of what that bucket means. But, overall, they did not grow in North America. So I don't know why that is. And maybe they are growing far more in the other regions. So they are not focusing as much on North America just because their footprint could be stronger in the other markets because of the localization. Because of the localization, it makes a very global product overall from the cloud perspective. Or maybe the cloud adoption was far higher in the other regions than in North America. If you look at the SMB segment, cloud adoption has been higher. That's what we saw in case of Sage. Sage cloud segment is growing significantly overall.
Yeah, maybe they're not exchanging
Yeah,
a dollar for dollar as they make that change over too, but the margins are probably much better as they move to those cloud products.
Yeah, so unless we have that data, and that's what I have been trying to find out if we have that data available, but unfortunately, they don't have enough segmentation available to be able to get that insight, from the financial statements. So here, if you look at their revenue segmentation, so if you look at the three different businesses, so we have the cloud business, we have the hardware, and we have the services business. So overall, from the segmentation perspective, 84% of their revenue is coming from your cloud and license business. The hardware is only 9%, service business is only 7%. So obviously these businesses are very small and they don't necessarily care. I don't know if they really care for these businesses if they are not growing, because cloud is actually making up for the other segments. If you look at the Oracle applications, some of the applications related to Oracle, that is going to be Oracle application, Oracle databases, Oracle middleware. Obviously Java is a humongous programming language that is well adopted by the banks and insurance, and that is all clubbed inside your cloud and license business. That's where they are making a lot of money in general. And by the way, the middleware that they are going to have is going to be the web logic platform, which is, again, if any enterprise Java shops are going to be there, they are probably going to be using that middleware, and they're going to be paying significant in the license revenue.
Tell me something, Sam. On the financial statement, it broke it up into three segments: software, service, and hardware. What kind of hardware is Oracle involved with?
So if you actually look at the Oracle Solaris, now from the Solaris, that's probably going to be OS, but they have some of their own hardware that they ship that is going to be compatible with their operating system, because nobody else is probably doing that. I don't know why they are carrying forward with these boxes. A lot of companies such as IBM have actually moved out from the box business because they want to be in more attractive business that is going to be your software. That's what every company is trying to do. But for some reason, Oracle is still providing that because that could be a decent revenue stream that they don't want to kill right away, I guess.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I was just going to comment. I think some of that's probably because they still want some segmentation in terms of their financials. If you look, I think it's interesting what they lump into the cloud and license bucket, and they're probably trying to at least maintain some segmentation of that, at least for some period of time, before ultimately they probably roll that into one of the other categories, would be my guess.
So honestly speaking, Dave, I don't think Oracle decides that. Typically, that is decided by people like you, because you are actually not going to be investing your money in a company that is going to be selling boxes at this point of time unless they are in the box business. So you are the representative of Wall Street. And what Wall Street wants is they want cloud business. Okay. That's why everybody is pushing for cloud business at this point of time. So I don't think the segmentation that they have provided, that is done more from the diversification perspective. They are continuing just because they have to support the existing customers, or they'll probably move out to somebody else. So they don't have a choice but to continue on that.
Good point, Sam.
So now we are going to be discussing the application technologies, and this is some more segmentation overall that we have from their application portfolio perspective. So I'm actually going to read this. Oracle applications technologies are marketed, sold, delivered, and supported through our cloud and license business. our application cloud services and license support revenues represented 41% of our total cloud services and license support revenues in fiscal 2021. And this is where the segmentation is coming for the application cloud services and the license support revenue. So this could be the segmentation, I believe, between the application cloud versus everything else that they have in their portfolio, which is growing, which was 40% of our total cloud services and support in 2020, 2019. So right now they have roughly 1% growth overall in that segment. Now, if you look at the total portfolio of the Oracle application technologies, that is going to include your Oracle Cloud SaaS offerings, which is going to be your NetSuite of the world, which is going to be the Oracle Fusion of the world, which are available for customers as a subscription, and Oracle applications license offering, which are available for customers to purchase for use within the Oracle Cloud. There is a distinction, guys. Okay, within the Oracle Cloud. So they claim that they can support either Oracle Cloud or the other ones, but here they are making the distinction between the applications or the license sold within Oracle Cloud, because they are going to be far cheaper because of the bundle discount. Obviously, Oracle as a company, they want to push for their products as much as possible, so they are going to have far superior bundle discount. But let's say if you are going to deploy your Oracle application to any other cloud, you are not going to get the same discount. So now they are clearly segmenting between the applications that are sold within Oracle Cloud versus in the other cloud or the on-premise IT environments. But they are open for that. So let's say if you want to use your own deployment infrastructure, they are not going to say no, it's just going to be expensive. So you might end up choosing their cloud. Regardless of the deployment model selected, our applications technologies are designed to reduce the risk, cost, and complexity of our customers' IT infrastructure while supporting customer choice with flexible deployment models. But what I really wanted to pay attention to is going to be the way they segment their industries in this. So if you look at the hierarchy of the industries, so here what they are saying is we offer applications that are deployable to meet several business automation requirements across a broad range of industries. We also offer industry-specific applications, which provide solutions to customers in the automotive, communications, construction and engineering, consumer goods, education and research, financial services, food and beverage, healthcare, high technology, hospitality, industrial manufacturing, life sciences, media and entertainment, public sector and retail, and utilities industries, and among others. Now, if you look at the order, the reason why order matters is typically in the financial statement. Okay, that is done based on the importance, that is done based on the market share. So they are going to have, and I'm actually shocked that they obviously have a large market share in the automotive space, just because you are going to have far larger companies in that segment. You are not going to have as many small to medium sized businesses. The same goes for communications. You are not going to find a lot of communication companies utilizing the ERP. They might use ERP just for their financials. They might use the HCM software, but they will not be able to run their operations using the ERP. So, Oracle does really, really well in this space. The most shocking for me was the construction and engineering, because I was thinking that companies like Deltek that are far more penetrated in the construction space. In fact, Sage was very well penetrated in that space. But here, Oracle does well in the construction. I can almost guarantee that once you outgrow your Sage, once you outgrow your Deltek, then probably you are going to move to Oracle. So Oracle has significant market share overall in the construction and engineering. But overall, the point to be noted here is going to be the product-centric companies. If you look at the industrial manufacturing companies, they are last in the order. Okay, they were never sort of the player in the product-centric companies. But now with the cloud, they are really winning in that space. That's the point to be taken from their growth trajectory, that they were never sort of the company for the product-centric companies. But now with the cloud offering, I think they are really crushing it right now. Now, Oracle Cloud Software as a Service, Oracle Cloud SaaS offerings utilizing common web browsers. This is just the definition of what Oracle Cloud is. The SaaS offerings are built upon open industry standards such as, by the way, one point to be noted here is, all of their applications are going to be deployed using Java. Java is the programming language. And that's the reason why they acquired NetSuite, because NetSuite is one of the few ERP systems that is based on Java. Okay, that's completely different from the traditional ERP systems, which are probably going to be Microsoft based, which are going to be probably .NET based. And Oracle has best interest in promoting Java because that's their proprietary language. So they want to promote their language, they want to promote their database, and that's why their entire portfolio is built around Java and cloud as well. The other point to be noted here is there are three big pillars in their enterprise ERP segment. One is going to be the core ERP functionality. The second is going to be EPM, which is very strong. So the large enterprises are going to have needs for a lot of heavy FP&A processes. Okay, that is typically not as present, I would say, in the small to medium-sized segment, even though they might use these processes, but they are not as robust overall in the FP&A processes. But enterprises typically need that. So that EPM function is going to be super important, and that's why they really win in the large enterprise space. I don't know if the other vendors actually have as deep capabilities overall in the EPM space. The other thing is going to be your SCM. SCM is fairly robust as well. They have things like PLM. They have things like supplier network as part of your SCM umbrella. But again, this is only for the enterprise solution. Okay, guys, don't confuse this with your NetSuite solution. NetSuite is a completely different product. This is for their enterprise product. In case of enterprise product, they have really, really, really deep capabilities and that's why they are really positioned very high in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant for the product-centric industries. Okay, so here, so they have cloud-based, they are distinguishing between the cloud-based industry solutions to address specific customer needs. And these are the only cloud-based solutions. Other ones, I think, were not cloud-based. I don't know what distinction they have, but the construction and engineering seems to be very robust. Retail is very robust. Oracle has always been very strong in retail. In fact, they have the advertising cloud. I don't know if the other large vendors have that. So they do really well in the retail. In the last session, we saw that they are literally monopolized in the utilities market. They have very strong presence in the utility. That's why this is going to be the industry specific solution. One of the things that you are going to notice in case of Oracle, they do support the Oracle Common Data Model. Again, Microsoft has that. SAP is trying to get there. They don't have that, but Oracle has that. A lot of companies are going to actually require the common data model across the applications so that all of the applications, your EPM, HCM, are actually going to be talking to each other. A lot of companies such as SAP are not able to get there, and that's why Oracle is really ahead in the large enterprise space. So this is really the differentiator of Oracle. They also seem to claim to have some of the IoT Industry 4.0 offerings. I could not really get anything concrete in terms of what they really have there, to be honest. So we need to pay for closer attention to that if they are going to have anything valuable for the customers. But overall, I think the retail advertising and the customer experience is very strong just because they acquired a company that was very strong in that space. Okay, one of the things that I had mentioned is obviously the database is their flagship product. Overall, they want to lead with the database play in a lot of different industries. It's not that they are leading in every industry with database. The product-centric industries are definitely going to be ERP-led. And the Oracle Autonomous Database is doing really, really well overall. Here, the infrastructure cloud services is also sort of the growing segment because this is the 59% of our total cloud services. So I think this is the 41 to 59. So 59 is going to be their infrastructure play, and I think 41 is going to be their application play, if I'm reading this right. Somebody can confirm that. I don't know. Do you guys agree with me?
I think that's right, Sam. It is a little confusing whether those are the two sides, but I believe that looks right to me too.
Yeah, this was the 40% in the other case, and now this is 60%. So the division between infrastructure and your app is going to be 41 to 59 right now. Here we are talking about these 116 countries. I think this is the biggest differentiator for Oracle Fusion Cloud. Again, this is not for NetSuite. We don't know how many countries are supported by NetSuite. This is only for Oracle Fusion Cloud because this is positioned for much larger companies. Okay, so this is one of the risks that I found it really interesting because Oracle wants to deploy majority of their application on their infrastructure. So one of the clear financial risk, and Oracle is not very expressive in terms of expressing their risk, to be honest. If you pay attention to their financial statement, I really could not find anything, to be honest. Okay, it was very generic risks. In case of Sage, we could find very specific financial risks related to product. In case of Oracle, we just don't have those for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's a different market, or maybe they are positioned differently from the SEC perspective. But one of the risks that they have highlighted is going to be related to the recent outage that happened in case of NetSuite. And the reason for that is because of the Oracle infrastructure. In case of Oracle infrastructure, it's not as penetrated as your AWS, as your Azure. So obviously they are going to have the smaller footprint overall from their capability perspective, from their R&D perspective, right? AWS and Azure are going to be slightly bigger players in the infrastructure play. And when you look at the infrastructure market is very dollar driven. Okay, so the more dollars you have, the more competitive you are going to be. The better your play is going to be overall from the infrastructure perspective. So one of the risks that they have highlighted is going to be related to if something happens in the infrastructure that could actually jeopardize our credibility, because when you look at these SaaS ERP platforms, you need to be running 24/7. Even if you go down even once, people are probably going to freak out that why are you going down? Because going down is not seen as, especially in the cloud market, I have not seen a lot of ERP systems going down. So obviously that's going to be a negative mark, for Oracle. So this is the financial risk that they have very clearly highlighted in their financial statement.
So Sam, they report that telecommunications is one of their key markets, and I think that their support of telecommunications, there's a direct correlation between the infrastructure of the cloud and the telecommunications market. So I think that they should be, number one, parlaying that to ensure that they have a strong infrastructure. And then secondly, I have a question about education and the support of the educational resources from Oracle. So we know that SAP, Microsoft, and other major players have a very, very strong background to educate their customers and the public at large about their products. Do we know if Oracle has that same educational program?
So I could not find any negative, red flags in terms of their educational programs. To be honest, in the reviews, they are going to be fairly positioned. I would say the comparable in case of Oracle is obviously going to be SAP. They are typically partner-led when you are deploying these platforms. They all are going to have some sort of open university. But when you are going to run into challenges, they are going to direct you to the partners. Because again, even if you are, let's say, read all those documents, you will still require a lot more experience before you can touch these systems. So that's why I think overall in terms of the positioning, the educational aspect is going to be fairly even. I would say I could not find any sort of red flags. And to your other comments about the telecommunications market, I'm not too sure about the correlation, to be honest. Obviously, telecom is a big market for Oracle overall. But I don't know where that correlation is coming from. I don't know where the market share is coming from.
Well, it's just fascinating that they highlighted code within the software specifically. That language was interesting. Security, someone would breach security. That's a risk that all these companies tend to highlight. But the fact that there could be problems in the code that affect their reputation, I thought was just a strange thing to say in a financial document like that. I mean, Andy, I don't know if that caught your attention too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's interesting how they focus, or at least they're positioning what they think the audience is going to be attracted to.
And I think just general on the financials, I found, and I understand these are written in a very specific way for, as you said earlier, a specific purpose. But it really was hard. NetSuite is what's getting so much play in the market by these guys. And we'll talk about it in a while when you get into it. I mean, it's a fabulous platform. And yet it was hard to really find that in those financials. It was hard to find that.
Not at all.
About or highlighted. They really kept coming back to the very large, platforms like that EPM platform and that SCM platform, which kind of talk right by the NetSuite story a little bit.
Yeah, so from the corporation perspective, obviously NetSuite is a very small market share overall, so they don't want it to be the highlighted bullet point in their financial statement. They simply want to talk about the larger pillars. So, and that speaks for the focus as well of the organization. But, overall from the growth perspective, if you actually look at the strategic market, obviously it's a very growing market. Might not be comparable to the revenue that they might be getting. Let's say in the infrastructure as a service segment, that's where they are going higher than your app segment, which we saw that is the 60, how much was that? Sorry, 41% and 59.
41, yeah, right? 41 and 59.
That so they are still,
Sam, because when I think of Oracle and I think a lot of NetSuite, because that's where I see that they're really well positioned in that mid-market space. But it's a great insight when you look at Oracle as a company. That's maybe growing fast, and it's an exciting space for a lot of us working, this piece of business. But it's not where all the money is for them.
No, it seems like NetSuite obviously is a very popular product, but it seems like when they're positioning themselves amongst all the other ERP vendors, they lump themselves into the revenue of the big product, but really it's a little deceiving.
Yeah. Overall, from the corporate positioning perspective, right now they are still, the market share is still in the infrastructure market. That's how I am sensing from the financial statement. I don't know if I'm reading that right. I mean, right now 41 to 59 split would mean that if their infrastructure pillar is going to be slightly bigger than your app, but obviously app is catching up a lot as well. But then they both are going to grow together because their goal is I'm going to actually sell more licensing and app, and that is actually going to be deployed on my Oracle Cloud platform. So that is going to actually grow as well. So that's a very interesting play from the Oracle perspective. But here, if you look at their product positioning, and I really like to focus on the marketing positioning as well, because this is very important. This is how they want their customers to navigate the site. So this is actually done more from the customer's perspective. So if you actually look at this, your on-prem solutions are bucketed the last. This is the last priority for them. Their priority is really going to be the cloud applications, which is really your Fusion, and then you have NetSuite, which actually takes you to the different side completely, because NetSuite is still very independent organization right now. Even though it is part of Oracle, it's very independent. So that's how they are handling. And by the way, see if they actually mixed the positioning of NetSuite with Fusion, obviously it could get very confusing. So that's why they have positioned it this way. Let's move the industry here. Industries, this is really aligned with what we saw in case of your financial statements, which means automotive is the first one. The second is your communication. The third is construction and engineering. The fourth is consumer goods, which is the retail segment, in my opinion. Then you have the education and research. They are still very low with respect to industrial manufacturing. So the point I'm trying to make here is the marketing and financial perspective seems to be aligned. We did not see any sort of discrepancy there.
It basically says that Oracle is a fit for any type of company. Are they missing anything?
Oracle is a humongous company, obviously. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
If you actually look at the, SAP industries, I can almost guarantee that they are probably going to have everything as well. So I would not call them out on this aspect, but definitely, there is a lot. So let's move to the industries for the specific products. So if you look at the Oracle positioning of the industries and the NetSuite positioning of the industries, there is a slight discrepancy there. So Oracle overall is positioned in the automotive, communications, construction, and engineering. But if you look at from the Oracle NetSuite perspective, they are winning primarily in the advertising and digital marketing agencies. They do really, really, really well in the apparel, footwear, and the accessory space, campus stores, consulting, education. They started as the financial solution. They started as the cloud financial solution, and that's why they are winning into this. They also have very strong capabilities overall in the CRM and marketing automation, and that's why if you actually look at their solution, they like to focus on those things. They don't like to focus on the other things such as your manufacturing, the warehouse, the supply chain. That's always probably last in their list. So here you're going to have financial services, which has a very different need overall in terms of the way the financial services work. But NetSuite does really, really well in the financial services segment. They do very well in the food and beverage, health and beauty, healthcare. But the other industries, well, for example, wholesale distribution, in my mind, I thought they were really winning in those. But that is the last priority, as we can see from the marketing perspective, at least. So we are going to validate this information with the users' reviews. And the approach that we have taken for the users' reviews is going to be, we look for sort of trends. We don't want to look for one-off review. If the trend is going to be persistent across the review platforms, then probably users are really facing that. And then we are trying to correlate that with the financial and marketing information. So a couple of things that you are going to be noticing here. And by the way, this is for the enterprise product that is going to be your Oracle Fusion ERP. This is not really for NetSuite. So one of the things that they have noted is, a couple of reviewers noted that it is not very fast. I don't know if it is because this is a large solution and people may have moved, let's say, from the smaller solution. Sometimes there could be a sort of shock there in moving there. But overall, this has been the general sentiment in the review, that performance needs to be improved of the Oracle Cloud ERP. And this could also be because this is actually deployed on the Oracle infrastructure. The other ERP systems are deployed on the other infrastructure, such as AWS or Azure. They also have noted some of the issues with the search functionality. This could be because Oracle Fusion ERP is a very cloud-connected solution, the one that we saw in case of our Sage as well. This is not the cloud-native solution. Okay, so that's why the search functionality sometimes could be tricky to work with, because you are actually trying to integrate a lot of different applications in the back end. So sometimes that could be tricky. This is consistent. Sure, I mean, it's probably not going to be the most shiny and new interface. Again, this is a connected application. It's probably not cloud native, so obviously it's not going to be as shiny. The data model is a huge differentiator. Just because of this data model, they are actually able to integrate all of those applications in the background and able to provide the seamless experience to the users, which is a big deal. Now let's look at NetSuite. This is for NetSuite. So there are some persistent trends in case of NetSuite, which is going to be charges for their sandbox. So anytime you are going to ask for the sandbox, that's a very tricky ask with NetSuite. That's not going to be a straightforward ask overall. It's going to be the 12 months term that we have seen in case of the other players as well. I think that is very consistent overall in the industry. Some players do include the sandbox as part of the offering, but NetSuite is definitely not doing that. They are trying to dilute down as much as possible the offering and trying to make it easier for the smaller customers. And once you are going to have slightly bigger ask, that's where they start charging a lot more. That's their strategy. Okay, so there is one review which was slightly, we could not really find the consistent trend, but in this particular case, the user had highlighted issues with the lot numbering capability. I don't know. This seems to be more of the educational issue, in my opinion, because the user may not know how to really use the NetSuite. That could be the reason why they have highlighted this. I would doubt if they have really any issues in case of your lot numbering capability, but this is something you might want to pay attention to if you are reviewing NetSuite. The other things that there is always a consistent trend towards their professional services. A lot of reviewers have expressed their concerns overall about their implementation team. Either they were charging a lot, or they were overcharging, or there was a significant churn overall in the professional services team, or they just could not know what the customer was looking for. They were operating in these silos. So these are some of the reviews that we have got. Again, this is also related to the professional services. This is slightly harsh. They are saying that they were simply incompetent. It could be because they might be dealing with the Philippines offshore. NetSuite professional services are done from the offshore. That's why they are able to reduce the cost. I don't see anything else here. This guy is very harsh as well. They are clearly saying that do not use NetSuite. They have also highlighted some issues in the manufacturing solution, that it was never integrated. The sales team sold it as the integrated solution, but it was never integrated. So that's it for the slides and the presentation. Now, I don't know if you guys are going to have any comments, questions.
I think the whole positioning of the NetSuite product, especially from some of these comments that we're reading, is like this one is saying they sold us a combination of NetSuite with advanced manufacturing and an integration to Logfire, a WMS system. One of the selling points that NetSuite really pushes is their app store. They've got apps that do everything. It's just you never know how much they're going to cost, or you never know how much they're going to actually integrate to the main code. In this case, I'm assuming that this advanced manufacturing and Logfire were purchased out their app store. Would that be a fair statement, Sam?
Yeah, in my books, if you are trying to utilize any add-ons, in my experience, most implementations fail because of vendor conflicts, because
Yeah,
of
exactly.
add-ons, because of the complexity of the project. So if you are trying to utilize any add-ons, pay attention to the code ownership as much as possible. Pay attention to the contracts. Okay, contracts is where you are
Absolutely.
going to find a real picture. What's being sold to you, and obviously you would not know. Sometimes you are going to have the extended sales order screen and they are going to say that it's all NetSuite. Okay, but they have modified the entire NetSuite code base, and they are not going to share anything related to that code base. So you have far more lock with your vendor than with your OEM. So in case of NetSuite, let's say if you have problems with your NetSuite professional services, you can actually move to other partners. But let's say if you have
Right.
problems in the partner owned code, that's it. You are done. Nobody
Well,
can
tell me
support you.
something. Their app store, are these products that are third-party products, or are some of them built by Oracle themselves?
So typically those are going to be third party. If they are going to be built by Oracle, obviously it's going to
Okay.
be part of the core solution. The marketplace is going to have, I think they have 2 or 3 different tiers. In some cases, it's going to be natively integrated, but still the ownership of the code is going to be by the third party because it's add-on. Okay, so pay attention to the contract.
I'll tell you the biggest challenge people forget about with third-party products. We all talk about integration, we talk about functionality, but the biggest risk, I believe, is that whenever you have two companies, their relationship never lasts forever. And if that relationship erodes, your app doesn't work anymore.
Or they stop improving it at the very least, right, Andy?
Or something.
Or supporting
it freezes.
Agreed.
Sam, I was just going to ask you, were you able to find any other customer reviews on the enterprise solution? I'm just curious if there's, we only looked at the one review, but it's interesting, as Phil kind of pointed out, the language, the specific language in the financial statement. I wonder if there's any kind of correlation to address some ongoing customer concerns from that standpoint in their financial statements in terms of, some of the errors or lags or, user experience that people are coming across.
So honestly speaking, I mean, from our perspective, the kind of reviews that we like to pick are going to be sort of the consistent. We don't want to be picking on reviews that are going to be one-off, because sometimes it could be because, a smaller company, let's say, implemented Oracle Fusion and they felt that, that the solution was too big. Now, it is not really Oracle's fault as such, that the solution is too big. You are trying to utilize wrong product. And that, so we want to be fair with our assessment. So in our case, for the most part, the Oracle Fusion customers are fairly happy. They're based on the sort of the integration. If you look at the companies in the larger segment, not in the smaller segment, if the small companies are going to use, they are simply going to feel that I asked for Corolla and you gave me truck. That's how they are going to feel. And it's going to be a very, frustrating experience. So when you look at, companies that are going to have, let's say, 10,000 employees, they are going to have very different perspective because their problems are far bigger and they absolutely love, Oracle Fusion for sure.
And Sam, I do think several of these are trend and represent some of the experiences that I had specifically with NetSuite on the pricing and understanding the pricing. NetSuite is an implementation. And so, there's a real implementation step in standing up NetSuite, and it is difficult to get to the actual cost of ownership and the actual implementation cost the way their pricing is. And that was my experience as well. I really echo what you said about reading not only the licensing agreement but the statement of work and read it close, because they interact with each other. And it's where you find out what's actually in the numbers, what they're actually including in the project. And then as far as the professional services one, I don't think they're unique on this one. I think, and maybe you'll clarify this if it's your experience. My experience is that if you get an independent system integrator consultant, that you can really make sure what you're getting and what you're paying for and ask them the tough questions while you're deciding to employ them. Once you get inside the professional services area, they're good at supporting an existing package, but as far as helping you stand up a new package, it's really not what they do. And sometimes they oversell that in my opinion. But NetSuite is an awesome package, and the Oracle stuff that I've witnessed on, and the older Oracle stuff that I did a lot with, is strong platforms. But it takes it takes an educated and a good analysis by the customer, because it's not just a bolt-on out-of-the-box solution. They're going to do, hopefully not customization, but they're certainly going to do configuration during a stand-up of these products.
Well, going back to the comment about the App Store, and you're talking about professional services being offshore, I question and I doubt that those professional services offshore can support the apps as well. Am I right?
So NetSuite
now you're getting multiple support organizations, right?
Exactly.
And yeah.
It's back to the QuickBooks discussion, Andy.
Yeah. It's like, on the surface, everything looks like peaches and cream until you dig down into the truth and you go, oh my goodness, what am I getting myself into?
So that's why find a good system integrator consultant. Yeah. This is not QuickBooks. You're standing up an ERP that has a lot of functionality, that's going to be configured, that's going to use third-party apps in order to fit the business model. You need a partner helping you that you can really count on and that you can hold accountable.
That's the key, is someone that you can trust, someone that you have confidence with, and someone that you can rely on. Because you know what? Your partner, we all know this, it's a marriage, right? It's not we drop a software off and see you later. It's a lifetime commitment.
And Sam, if I could speak to Phil's comment too, it's not only the contract that you need to worry about and the consultant, the contract with the consultant. You also need to be sure that with that statement of work, you're getting a really good project plan. Because if you don't have a good project plan, this is going to go on forever.
That's exactly the point.
Great point.
Angela, and now you're dealing with somebody offshore to put a project plan together for you?
Yeah.
They don't know you from Adam. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, overall, I think the way NetSuite is being sold right now, it's been positioned as sort of the magic wand that it can cure a lot of problems. Obviously, it is an amazing product if it is sold in the right industries and if it is implemented the way the ERP is supposed to be implemented. And NetSuite is an amazing product. There's no question about that. But you need the right implementation model to get the real value out of NetSuite.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So we are going to take. Do you guys have any other final questions or comments? All right. So I'm not hearing anything. On that note, thank you so much for your insight and time.
See you, everybody.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sam. Great being here.
I cannot thank our guests enough for coming on the show, for sharing their knowledge and journey. I always pick up learnings from our guests, and hopefully you learned something new today. If you want to learn more about Andy Pratico, head over to essoft.com. It's ESSOFT.com. If you want to learn more about Phil Kerper, head over to ringlingbusinesssolutions.com. It's ringlingbusinesssolutions.com. If you want to learn more about Dave Chrysler, head over to thechrysler.club. It's TheChrysler.club. If you want to learn more about Angela Thurman, head over to thurmanco.com. It's THURMANCO.com. Links and more information will also be available in the show notes. If anything in this podcast resonated with you and your business, you might want to check other related episodes, including the interview with Ram Krishnamurthy, who discusses costing strategies for different businesses and why that matters for ERP implementations. Also, the interview with Brett Bubeff, who provides insights into whether moving to cloud guarantees business transformation. Also, don't forget to subscribe and spread the word among folks with similar backgrounds. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please review and rate us on your favorite podcasting platform or DM me on any social channels. I'll try my best to respond personally and make sure you get help. Thank you, and I hope to catch you on the next episode of the WBS Podcast.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.